Welcome. I am your host and storyteller, Dungeon Master Bilbo. I am bringing to you, actually, I didn't even realize on my camera, I am bringing you a review of Monsters of the Underworld for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, let me tighten my camera up here now. Sorry about that. Thought I had everything set. Anyways, so Monsters of the Underworld by Cawood Publishing. I hope I say that right, Andrew. I never hear your name say. I never hear your name say online, so I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. But this is from a friend of mine here on Twitter. Actually been a longtime follower as well as purchaser of products from Cawood Publishing. His name's Andrew. And he has now come out with this wonderful book. I'm just going to move this up. Sorry, it's the title. So, should I always have the title on here, right? So, Monsters of the Underworld. I'm going to do a book review. I just got this 2 days ago, I would say. Yeah, it arrived Wednesday. However, I do a Dungeons and Dragons stream that night, so I withheld, didn't look at the book. Yesterday I had the day off, so I had a good chance to go in, review, look at all the monsters here in this book. And if you haven't seen, so this one, Monsters of Phelan, this is another book of Andrew's and his publishing company. And I actually love this book. I have actually 2 campaigns where I'm using this as a basis for a lot of the encounters that my parties are running into. And it's been fun. One of my players just don't know what these creatures are, and which is good. I have a very experienced group of players and know the books very well. And so here I can use creatures and not have to modify them because they do not know what they're facing. Anyways, so let me just go ahead and let's start off with the review and we'll go from there. So first off here is a picture of the back side of Desmond, a monster hunter, Desmond Hawkeye. It's a monster hunter here. And also, I'm going to move this camera over now so we can hopefully, I thought I had this all set up, but I guess not. Andrew actually autographed the book for me, so it's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and we will just jump on into this thing. So there's Andrew, the illustrations by Travis Hansen, and layout and graphic art by Jeff Porter. And so we see that there. I think I want to move this there. I think that way it'll give it our best chance here of the book. So first off, 5th edition products. The one thing I was going to say is, as I said, I'm a big fan of his products. You can go out to DM's Guild and see all of Andrew's Cawood Publishing adventures and stuff. I believe right now they have like 11 adventures out there for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Andrew also has his own campaign setting, World of Mirror. There's also, I think he has about another 11 other handbooks out there that Dungeon Masters can use, like ourselves. There is 110 encounters in this book, which is great. So, I mean, there's plenty of encounters. There's a table of contents here, all the encounters listed. And of course, I'm not going to go through everybody. There, once again, is Desmond. He is, I don't know, I love this art. I've seen this picture, I think, in one of Andrew's Twitter posts, or maybe out on Instagram, but I really like this character. I'm glad he actually put it in the book. Here we have on the side here, there's the Underworld, some of just the background of Underworld, and some game master advice. Not going to go into those kind of details. He also has here Lions of the Griffin. Let me move this over here just a second. So he has the Lions of the Griffin and then Underworld adventure hooks. So for you dungeon masters that may need a little inspiration, you can look at this and take a look and say, oh, okay, I can use this, and this is how maybe I hook or get people down into the underworld. So that's what we see here. So here's the art. So every encounter, every creature really, has its own full page, as you can see here. So here's the behemoth. You have your typical, your stat block here. You have all of your abilities and actions, plus some information like right here. That may help you play the encounter or create an adventure around the encounter. And each creature here in the book is unique. So I really like that here. I actually had an Underworld campaign that happened by accident, as the characters chose to go deep underground. But that was one of those games that just kind of phased out, and actually we moved on. But there's plenty of encounters here that you can use in multiple settings. And that's kind of my plan, is that I will, even though I'm not doing an Underworld or Underdark campaign right now, I want to, I really do, but I have so many going on right now, it's probably going to have to wait, but I'm going to take some encounters here from the book. So I'm going to not go through every encounter. You need to go out and buy the book yourself, which I recommend if you're a dungeon master out there. This book is well worth it, as well as the Monsters of Phelan. As I said, the Monsters of Phelan is one of my favorite books to pull encounters from. I've been using it nonstop for 2 campaigns now, and just love the variety and just some of the artwork that I can just kind of just take and then be inspired and build an adventure around it here. So let me get you to some of my favorite encounter and creatures in here, as well as the artwork. Just kind of get into the page here. I have the book marked, but just not that well marked. So here, let's see if I can get this better there. Yeah, so this here is the Goblin Queen. So I really, I love the artwork here. This is my favorite piece of art. I don't know what it is, but this one stuck out to me on the page, just kind of came to life, and I definitely want to use her as an encounter in one of my campaigns, and I have an idea where I'm going to use her. Oh, I should say this first off too. If you're one of my players watching this right now, shut it down. Stop. Just hit the like button, move on, and don't watch this any longer, because I don't want to spoil the encounters for you guys in the future. So thanks for watching, guys, but turn it off now. Thank you. All right. So I was going to say that right at the beginning, and here I am in the book already. So that, like I said, the Goblin Queen's I just love the art there on that. Just jumps out off the page. Here next is the Hag Queen. So my current Pirates campaign, and even my Dark Stories of Koran, we've had multiple encounters or dealings with hags and witches, and like most of the witches and hags I'm actually using out of the Monsters of Phelan. So here is a Hag Queen, and I will definitely use this here in my campaign for sure. I'll definitely use her. Next up is here. Now I don't see me using this one here. Let's bring this up a little bit more. There we go. Just adjust. Using a new tripod here. and it's the first time I've used this one, and so it's just getting used to the angles and how to put it out here. So here's the Lich King. So I really like this encounter. I don't have any games where I'll be using this anytime soon. This is a CR 25 encounter. So that's the other thing I really like about Andrew's books. The encounters, you have, low encounter challenge ratings as well as high. And the one thing too is that I've played with the Monsters of Phelan. He's done a great job. I have to just say this as well, Kobold Press. Those are my two favorite publishers in the sense of encounters. They seem to have a lockdown on the challenge ratings, better than Wizards of the Coast do with their Monster Manual. I have to up everything with the Monster Manual with my encounters. But here, I feel like the challenge ratings are set perfectly. At least what I've experienced with the monsters I've used from Monsters of Phelan. So I definitely give Andrew a lot of credit there for pulling that off. Here, I'm gonna just move the book over versus the camera. Here we have a Werewolf Lord. I actually saw this from Andrew. Once again, love the artwork on this, and just love this encounter. I'm actually gonna use him in my Ravenloft stream, a charity stream that I do a couple times a year, and this will come into play in the very next encounter we're doing, the 28th of December, where we will do another live stream charity event for the end of the year. And this encounter is going to show up right away. So really cool that I saw a picture of this from Andrew, and I was like, perfect, I'm definitely using that. Here we have a madcap. So here is a Minotaur King. So there's a few Minotaurs in here. This is the Minotaur King. I really like this encounter as well, a CR 12, and I definitely use him. I love Minotaurs, of course. I'm a big fan of Greek mythology. A lot of my world is kind of almost has that influence, of course, along with, of course, Tolkien, but I'm a big Greek mythology, and so the Minotaurs are a favorite. My grandson loved the Nightmare Bear, my 5-year-old grandson. And over here is the Necromancer. So here, another tough encounter, CR 16. And like I said, a lot these encounters, you don't have to be in the Underdark. I mean, you can use these kind of anywhere, or even cave settings. With the Minotaur Maze, I've done that before. All right, let's go to the next encounter. Of course, and the one thing I was going to say here is also we have plenty of your typical Underworld stuff. Here is the Orc King, big favorite of this as well. So you have your typical, you have your orcs in here, you have your drow, your dwarves, your gnomes, your shadows, giants, all sorts of other fun Underworld creatures here. So there's plenty of encounters. There's 110 different monsters, and you see how they're laid out page by page. Here at the end, just show you this here. So he has Andrew's laid out. I really like this here. Monsters by CR and type. I really like this layout. He's done this as well in Monsters of Phelan, because I may look for a certain encounter I want. Say I want something Fey to use. I can look here, match up the CR for the campaign setting that I'm currently running or planning on running. And I can then go, okay, there's this. And then I can go and then look at a couple of them and then decide which one I want to use. So I'm a big fan of monsters by CR and by type. This is a huge huge thing. I really like that part because I can go, okay, I need a humanoid or I need a giant, and I have all, you know, all that, a fiend, all those kind of options. So I really like that kind of setup. Next here, we have over here, we have the race, underworld races, of course. So you have your dwarves, I said, the orcs, the drow or dark elves, durgar or gray dwarves, the snurf niblin or deep gnomes, goblins, of course, and your minotaurs. So you have your different races. Over here, he's also put out here Underworld events table. So you can either just pick something or roll if you want to have some type of an event. Also, you have a locations table. So once again, if you're creating something kind of on the fly, you just don't know. The great thing is, I like tables like that. I don't roll, but I love tables like this because what I'll do is look and then get inspired for something to write an adventure about, and that's kind of how I'll do it. But I mean, really, literally, you could create a whole just rolling dice and just do encounter by encounter, or location, and then throwing an encounter with the location. There's also here you have your Underworld encounters table. You have table 1, table 2. You have also he put in here a player character subclass. So you have the Ranger, the Monster Hunter subclass. So that's Desmond. And then you also have a Druid, the Circle of the Shroom subclass. So you have a couple subclasses if you want to introduce them to the game. There's a couple maps here that if you want to use, and so on. And so that is the book. And perfect timing. I wanted this video to be around 15 minutes. I'm a little 17 minutes because I ramble on a lot. So that is my review. I hope you got some information from this. As I said, it's well worth the purchase. Going out there, I believe you can get this on PDF as well. I'm a big fan of having hard cover books, so that's just kind of my jam. It has been since the beginning of playing Dungeons and Dragons, and so I would highly recommend getting Monsters of the Underworld. And if you haven't, as I said, definitely go out and get Monsters of Phelan. This book I really, really love. I'm sure I will love this one as well, the Monsters of the Underworld, and I'm sure I will put it into use very, very quickly. Let me just kind of scan that out there. So yeah, go out on DM's Guild. I will try to put a link in this video as well, so you can go out there and purchase it, and I believe you can get it hardback too, print on demand or however that works. I forget. I've done it a couple times, but you can definitely go out there and at least get it out on PDF. I believe now. I know Monsters of Phelan's out there, but I'm sure this will be out there. If it's not there now, it will be out there very soon. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave that a message below. I promise I will get back to you. I always do. And if you really like this, please hit the follow, subscribe button. And if you made it this far to the very end, can you give me a thumbs up? It would really help. And please feel free to pass this on to share this if you're a player and you want to have some cool encounters that you would not normally see, or spins on some encounters. These 2 books are perfect. So with that, I will sign out. Remember, it's cool to be a geek. Pass it on.